Coach Garner here from hockeytraining.com, and in this video, I want to talk about what you should be drinking after your games for maximal recovery, but you can also use this drink after your workouts. Honestly, they're extremely similar, and you can go back and forth between the both. So this says post-game, but could also be post-workout. All you need to remember are the 3 R's, and that's really what I want this video for, is to simplify the process for you. The 3 R's: repair, refuel, rehydrate. If you're going to remember the 3 R's, you are ahead of a lot of other hockey players that kind of just wing it post-game and wait too long in order to kickstart their recovery process. What's being damaged in a workout? Muscle tissue. What is muscle tissue made of? Protein. Boom. That's what we need for repair. What is being depleted during a game or workout? Carbohydrates. What do we need to do to replete glycogen status? Carbohydrates. Boom. Done. Refuel. Out of here. What is being dehydrated during games or workouts? Water and electrolytes. What do we need to do to replenish that? Have some more, okay? You guys know, especially if you follow me quite closely, that the conversations of nutrition can get very biochemically in depth. It can get very dialed in terms of lab analysis, in terms of individualization, in terms of a lot of this stuff. But, you know, on the surface level, that tip of the iceberg, you get all that complex biochemistry underneath the iceberg, but that tip can sometimes be this simple. We damage muscle tissue, replace it with protein. We deplete carbohydrates, we refuel it with carbohydrates. We deplete electrolytes and water during training, so we need to refuel them. It's simply a game of supply and demand. If we have a high demand during training in a game, well, then we need to have the supply in order to meet the demand for our recovery. Easy peasy. Remember the 3 R's. How do we approach this? This is also quite simple. Protein at 0.5 gram per kilo of body weight. Carbohydrates at 1 gram per kilo of body weight. And for hydration, I tend to lean on at least 20 ounces of water plus electrolytes. Is this 20 ounces of water arbitrary compared to the protein and carbohydrate dialed in recommendations? Yeah, it definitely is. But I think 20 ounces is just simply a good number. A lot of hockey players underconsume water, and there's an opportunity post-workout where they're naturally thirsty, so you can kind of get a lot in them in a short time frame. And also, a lot of people totally underestimate how much sweat they actually lose in terms of total body water. Like, I know a sweat just kind of looks like one small drop or whatever, but when you account for that all over your body, what's in your equipment, what's in your clothes, what got depleted, and your weight is different pre and post workout, your weight is different pre and post game, that's coming from total body water loss. And when you think, okay, I lost a pound in that workout, that you need to rehydrate. We need to get a lot of water back in the system. So 20 ounces, it's not like dialed in per a pound of body weight or anything like that, but I do just think it's a reliable number that I consistently use, and it's an easy way in which we can get a lot of water in a short period of time when the body's really asking for it. Okay, so 0.5 gram of protein per kilo, 1 gram of carbs per kilo, 20 ounces of water, and then an electrolyte mix. If you are not lean, okay, so let's say you just can't see your top 4 abs. Okay, if you can't see your top 4 abs, then I would probably bring that carbohydrate down to 0.5 gram per kilo. So you'd still be 0.5 gram per kilo of protein, but we'd bring you down 0.5 gram per kilo of carbs because you need to earn your carbs, metabolically speaking. Lean people can get away with eating a lot more carbs and not risking unnecessary fat storage, whereas people who aren't lean, they do not have that luxury. So you do need to earn your carbs, and that would be brought down. But if you are lean, these are the exact recommendations. What is an example? Well, if you're a 70 kilo individual, then you are 154 pounds. If you are somebody who is not adept in the metric system, kilo is 2.2 pounds. So just take your body weight and divide it by 2.2 in order to get the kilo measurements, okay? So a 70 kilo person is 154 pounds. Well, they're having 0.5 gram of protein per kilo, so they'd have 35 grams of protein. They're having 1 gram of carbs, so they'd have 70 grams of carbs, and then we throw in some 20 ounces of water as well as electrolytes. Now, these are the numbers we want to hit, and the numbers are more important than the sources, okay? So just That's absolutely true. You want to hit the numbers. It is more important than the sources. But with that said, sources are important, and I'm looking for any kind of advantage I can offer hockey players in any department. If it's going to be brain performance, muscular performance, accelerating recovery, enhancing stress management, enhancing sleep quality, controlling inflammation. These are all things that hockey players should be aware of in order to take their performance to the next level. So I'm a guy who is pretty big on sources, and because of that, I'm actually a fan of supplementation post-workout for a couple of reasons. Number one is that you can get these numbers like dialed right in. It's very easy to measure a scoop or even weigh it and get an exact number of what you need. So the accuracy is there. Number two, you're able to kickstart the recovery process faster, because if you're gonna have a steak and potatoes after a game, you're gonna have to get off the ice, get undressed, maybe talk, get out of the busy parking lot, drive all the way home, and then still cook your meal. Like that recovery window is not nearly as optimized, and you haven't started the recovery process as soon as you otherwise could have if you just had your post-game supplementation in your bag. The moment you finish a game or a practice, you could just smash that shake, done. And then it's gonna be an hour before you get another meal in, and then you can have another meal when you get back. So I'm huge on starting that recovery process immediately post-game, because the sooner you can start the recovery, the better you're gonna perform in your next session. You will only perform to the degree that you are recovered. So people will ask me like, hey, Dan, what should I have pre-workout or pre-game? I always say pre-workout nutrition begins when the last workout ends. That's very important for you to understand. Pre-workout nutrition begins when the last workout ends. Why? Because you only perform to the degree that you are recovered. So in a way, post-workout nutrition is pre-workout nutrition, because it's driving your recovery for the next session. So there's a lot of reasons why I like supplementation. I suppose the last reason I'll say here is speed of utilization. So if we compare the rate of metabolism of whey isolate to a steak, it's not even close. The whey is going to be peaked in the bloodstream in 60 minutes, whereas the steak has got like a slow burn and uptake. And you can have that whey basically in the body and out before you have your next meal, which your muscles are dying for in the repair process. And then same with the carbs. You have a carb powder in your, you could just put your protein and a carb powder in a Ziploc bag and keep that in the bag. Or you could put your protein and carb powder and electrolytes, in this example, in your shaker. And then just find a water fountain or bring an extra water bottle to mix them, and then you're good to go immediately post-game. So speed of metabolization matters. So I said a couple of reasons, but there's like a million reasons I like supplementation post-game and post-workout, simply because I'm a guy who's big on precision. So what would we have here? Some form of whey isolate, some form of fast-acting carbohydrate that's easy on the gastrointestinal tract, a blend of electrolytes, and then we throw that all in 20 ounces of water. Boom, done. Now, I have had people who are like, hey, what would I do if I have food instead of supplementation? If you're one of these people, that's fine. You do you. You still use these numbers. You just convert it into food. So in this example, 35 grams of protein, that's going to be about 5 ounces of lean meat. 70 grams of carb, that's going to be close to 2 cups of rice. So you're just having some 5 ounces of meat, which is like the size of my palm, and just under 2 cups of rice. 70 grams would be like, I believe it's almost exactly 1 3/4 cup of rice. And then that's what you would have. You just have your meat and your rice. I recommend lean meat, so the uptake is faster instead of a fatty meat. I also recommend white rice post-workout or post-game, because it digests way faster than whole grain rice. It's one of the time periods where a more simple form of carbohydrate is actually preferred for performance enhancement. Outside of the workout window, you do want things that are a little bit more fibrous, but in that pre, during, and post-workout area, you want things happening fast, because your body has a fast supply and demand chain during this time. So meat and simple carbs, and then since you won't have an electrolyte blend, you can actually just sprinkle a little bit of salt on top, and that'll work excellent, okay? So meat, rice, sprinkle some salt on there, and you're gonna be good to go. All right, I've included my supplementation recommendations in the description below, and thank you for watching. I hope this made the whole process a lot more simple for you. like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what videos you'd like to see in the future. And as always, go to hockeytraining.com.